Hi, good afternoon and welcome to this, our final demo of our December, now December, was November season. This one on the AirCheck G2. My name is Roger Holder, Worldwide Marketing Programs here at NetAlly. And firstly, apologies for the issues we had with last week's session. For various technical reasons, we're just unable to get on to the webinar to present it, but we are going to deliver the same session today. The session will be recorded and you will get a copy of that sometime tomorrow. Just waiting a few seconds to see if we've got any more people joining us. So there'll be a brief pause and then I'll hand over to my colleague Alf Sutherland, who'll be our presenter and demonstrator for this afternoon. If you do have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A window and we'll have time to answer those at the end of the session. Thank you. Great. I think that's fine for now. Alf, do you want to kick off?
Yep, sure. So yes, so thanks again, and again, apologies for our technical problems last time. We put a pound in the meter and we're off again. So yeah, I'm Alf Sutherland. I've been with the organisation now for 9 odd years. So I've gone through the transition, likewise with Roger, from Fluke Networks, which is where our sort of heritage has ultimately come from. Spent a few years at NetScout, and for the last 2+ years we've been NetAlly, but actually only branded as NetAlly. So yeah, relatively new company, but sort of a lot of history going back. And the objective of this session, similar to some of the others if you've joined, is just to really more of a detailed technical demonstration of the products, to show you some of the features and functions and relate them to some of the values that the solution can offer you. I suppose a quick harbour tour first. Some of you are probably aware, within our tool set we have a number of solutions. We are generally known for our handheld network test tools, so previously yellow and blue but now green and black handheld devices that allow basically you to help deploy, troubleshoot and optimize your wired and Wi-Fi networks. We do have some Windows-based software, part of the AirMagnet suite, that allows you to deploy, plan, survey, and troubleshoot Wi-Fi. And to be honest, I'll touch on the Survey Pro capability later, as now we have an element of integration between the AirCheck, which I'll talk about today, with our free Link Live cloud reporting service and the surveying capability we have as well. But yeah, I suppose in short, we have a number of Wi-Fi solutions and wired solutions, and obviously one product that does a bit of both. And they're really aimed at the right tool for the right job, whether it's initial deployment, install, troubleshooting, all the way up to the more sort of network advanced network engineer, manager, security engineer, etc. But the whole sort of concept of our solutions in the vast majority of time is troubleshooting, and the idea behind it is to get to the root cause of the problems, whether it's the actual user, the device, the air or cable, whether it's the network, which traditionally gets blamed, and that could be a power over Ethernet, could be an IP, VLAN, proxy, server, DNS type of issue, could be a server, could be an application, could be the internet, or it could be a performance problem. So the whole idea of our tool set really is to get to the root cause in a quick way, and normally you can get to that within about 30 to 1 minute. And then obviously once you have that information, you can collaborate with the necessary people to actually get things done. But ultimately, the AirCheck is no different from our other solutions, but it is solely focused on Wi-Fi from a 2.4 and 5 gigahertz spectrum capability, and we support all the various standards up to and now including the Wi-Fi 6/802.11ax capability. So what is the AirCheck? The AirCheck is ultimately a handheld device. It literally is that size, very light, very portable. The device also comes with a holster, which obviously you can wrap around your hand, so you don't actually need to physically hold it. And there's also a neck strap as well. But ultimately, it's a ruggedized tool, touchscreen. There's only one button, and that turns it on and off. So on the side, there's some USB ports for additional connectivity, but it's really there to provide you with a quick understanding of what's going on within your environment, and then based on any particular tests, pass-fail capabilities. So yeah, great for troubleshooting, but equally it's comprehensive, supports your wired LAN infrastructure. The reason why so many customers like the AirCheck is it provides comprehensive complementary capabilities. So generally your wireless LAN management platforms only really provide you more of a traditional wired side view of what's going on. And if a user can't connect to your access point, sometimes there's limited diagnostics of what can be done. So the AirCheck really acts as a client within the environment, providing sort of client visibility of the network as opposed to an infrastructure view. I touched on it earlier, but generally it's used reactively, but obviously can be used proactively for new deployments, optimizing performance, making sure when you're upgrading for N to AC or AC to AX access points, everything is actually working correctly. It can be used for site surveying capabilities as well, which I'll demonstrate shortly. But more often than not, it's used for reactive troubleshooting. People complaining about connectivity, disconnecting, roaming, range, performance. Often used from a sort of security perspective. Got a number of people using it for PCI compliance, generally auditing and things like that. So you can understand really what devices are within your airspace. And if there are any things that shouldn't be, you have the ability to obviously highlight them and actually locate them, whether it's an access point, a client, or even a noise stroke interference. Yeah, like I mentioned, that's the sort of home screen. You basically just click on it to see what you want, and it really resolves the vast majority of the sort of problems that you generally hear of. Generally performance due to congestion or interference, configurational problems, roaming, range, general disconnection, and performance, which I'll talk about later. And there's a variety of different tests. Normally all of the information is shown graphically on the screen, but there is two ways of seeing additional information. One is via the free cloud service called Link Live, and ultimately once you claim your AirCheck to the system, you have the ability to obviously see all the necessary reports. So it's used for sort of fleet management, ultimately a centralized storage for your tests. It obviously does profile management and configurations, reporting, allows you to share bits and pieces amongst multiple people. But we also have our traditional Windows application called AirCheck G2 Manager, which allows you to connect up the device or the AirCheck via USB cable. And again, you can run some reports based on inventory, network connectivity tests, interferers, generally audit of your environment, and then save that in a format that you can provide to others. So again, very easy to use and again, free, as is Link Live. One thing I do want to mention though is recently, I think it was September, we actually came out with a new software release called AirMapper. Previously, this was in our principal wired and Wi-Fi solution, Etherscope, but ultimately AirMapper now allows you to do all the traditional AirCheck capabilities, but also allows you to do actually a site survey. So some of the problems with doing traditional site surveys are obviously you need a laptop or a tablet, you need the right relevant software on there, obviously licensed. Sometimes you need supported adapters or tethered devices, and sometimes, yeah, it's just not always that practical. Equally, some of the software can be seen to be almost over the top for the general user. So really what we've come up with is a better way of actually site surveying. So now you can use the AirCheck and the Etherscope to actually run passive and also active surveys, so you can actually validate, visualize, but also validate not only network coverage, but also performance as well. And all that information can be loaded up to Link Live, and then and obviously numerous different graphics can be seen, but we also have the ability to integrate it within Survey Pro, which is our traditional Windows-based application. One thing to mention is AirMapper is free. It's part of anyone that buys a new unit now. Equally, anyone that's under an AllyCare support contract can download it. If you do have AllyCare, you are entitled to see some additional visualizations. So by default, we just give you signal, but if you have AllyCare, you have noise, signal to noise, and data rate and other parameters available to you as well. I'll show you that shortly. But yeah, highly complementary, particularly relevant in the environment that we operate in now, that sometimes going to sites is limiting. Sometimes it's now easier to actually ship a unit and get someone to walk around taking measurements, because let's face it, the actual process of doing a survey isn't particularly complicated. You literally just click on where you are and then move to another location and repeat the process. So basically we're dumbing down that whole process of doing a site survey, allowing you then to concentrate your time on the visualization, analysis, and reporting. So enough of the presentation. Let me actually show you the solution. So this is a unit next to me. I'm connected via the Ethernet port via VNC, just so you can actually visualize. I'll be honest, my home office environment isn't that exciting, but hopefully you get the concept of what it can provide. So again, touchscreen. If I click, and these are the various options you get by default, and they're all sort of interlinked. So initially it gives you, it's telling me there's 5 networks, 5 access points, 2 clients. But if I do click on this networks, I can see the SSIDs that I can see within the environment. Let me move it up, see if it sees any more. And it tells me the signal strength, whether they're encrypted, and how many physical APs make up that SSID. So in a normal environment or a business environment, you'll see multiple SSIDs making up that environment. If you do click on it, you'll then see 2 or more, and you see the actual BSSIDs. Going back, if I do click on a particular SSID, I can see generally detailed information. I can see how many clients are connected, which channels it's operating on, and quite a lot of other detailed information. It'll also tell you what type of infrastructure this specific access point is, whether it's A, B, G, N, AC, or AX. So again, it's all very visual in showing you what's going on. And again, everything is color-coded. So green, obviously, we're getting a good signal strength. There's a very little noise, and the SNN is high. If I go back to choose one of my neighbors, now it's sort of saying the signal strength is minimal, hence why it's yellow. If it's very poor, it might be red. So again, all color-coded to suit your own particular needs or requirements. So these are the SSIDs. These are the specific BSSIDs. Again, if I click on one, again, it shows you a lot of detailed information regarding exactly what's going on. So again, we primarily provide the basic information for most people at the top, but at any particular time, if you scroll down, you can actually start seeing more detailed information if you so wish. Sorry. You know, which clients are connected. I've obviously got some of my home devices in this particular instance. And then if I go back one, you know, data rate supported, etc. So one of the things that is extremely well liked about this is the ability then as a client is to actually connect to that either BSSID in this instance or SSID as your choice. So this then validates network connectivity within your environment. So I'm in the process of connecting. I've authenticated, I've exchanged packets, I've got an IP address, and that tells me other IPing information. I've been able to ping my DHCP server and then my general response times. And what you can do down the bottom here is actually define specific targets. So this could be a particular server, could be another website, or other information as well. I think I've defined that incorrectly or manually done that, so ignore me in this particular instance. But as you can see, anything that's failed is red, anything that's potentially a bit worth investigation is orange, anything that's passed is green. So now we can see that in theory, I get a nice data rate of 300 megabits per second. For decent signal strength, again, my home router's in the same office, so that is to be expected. But if I click on log, I can actually see in more detailed information how I've actually connected to that particular AP. All this information is exportable. If I just put my finger on this exclamation mark and I can do a screenshot, again, I can send that up to Link Live. And what I'll just do is write a note. Just call it connection. Just upload that to Link Live and we can see that information again later. But so we've connected to the SSID. We can also run a number of tests. So if you're worried or concerned about performance, we can actually run an iPerf test. So I've got an iPerf server on my home network. We actually provide a test accessory with the AirCheck kit. Ultimately, is a little dongle that you can plug in, powered via either PoE or AA batteries. And what you can then do is run, depending on an iPerf performance test. So again, depending on how you configured it, TCP, UDP, all the various port numbers, we can click on it and it will tell you the, as opposed to the theoretical upload and download speed that we saw earlier, as in the file rate of 300 megs, it'll actually provide you with the true upload and download speed of what's going on. So if I actually type in the correct IP address, there we go. Hopefully now we'll actually get some data. So depending on how you've configured the test, we can see it's running at 10 seconds upload, and then it will do about 10 seconds download, and we can see the speed that we're connecting at, and any loss or jitter type of information as well. So we're actually getting some loss down at the moment. So again, all this information, if I click on the question mark, I can save the results and upload it. But that's the iPerf test, but what a lot of people also do is the range test. And it's not necessarily a range test, it's more of a roaming scenario. So what you can then do is, obviously I'm statically located, I'm running a constant ping against my DHCP server. I should have chosen something else because, and normally, if I stop and go back, I'm looking at DNS. Okay, so now we can actually see the log, and if you're walking around, you can actually see all the other what the device is doing to understand if there's a better access point, and you'll see all the necessary roaming information as well within the log. So not only graphically do you see the information, you'll see the BSSID change, and there's usually a line that actually drops out as well. So ultimately what I've shown you there is, validation of network connectivity to a particular access point, and then the ability to actually run performance tests from a roaming perspective and also a performance test. There's also other options within here. If I do click on channels, it gives me a visualization of channel activity. So every dot is an access point, and blue is sort of good traffic, grey is sort of noise or interference. If I do click on channel 1, I can see the 3 access points and other information as well. If I click on the 3 APs, they're the 3 APs operating. And again, I can drill down to see those specific BSSIDs as required. And that's the same really as going into access points and then clicking on one and drilling down as well. Again, if you do click on a particular BSSID, you do have, ultimately the system has the ability to do packet capture. So again, depending on what you've filtered on, you can do a channel capture. You can change the top and tail it from what type of packets you want and frame sizes and all the rest. Ultimately, you then save it in PCAP format. If I click on start, we've got a couple of frames. If I then manage my files, you can save that locally or even upload that to Link Live to do any necessary analysis as required. So quickly upload that. Cool. And even though it's a Wi-Fi device, it does have the ability to do an Ethernet test. So I'm connected via the Ethernet port in this particular instance to show the unit. But really what this does is allows you to provide that sort of link runner capability within our wide selection to give you an indication of whether you've got power, link status, which port on which switch you're connected to, including VLAN information, and IP addressing and network connectivity. So the idea behind this is if you're up a ladder plugging in an access point, normally, you want to see lights. That generally indicates you've got power, but are you in the right VLAN? Well, have you got an IP address? Are you in the right VLAN to be controlled by the management platform or cloud solution? And this validates that. So it allows your deployment easily and effectively to be done. But all sorts of other things in here as well. There's an interference classification, so traditionally people think of Bluetooth and microwaves, but motion sensors, security cameras, games controllers, motion Zigbee devices, etc., etc., etc. We have the ability to highlight those and tell you the impacts. And again, similar to all the other devices, whether they're clients or access points. So if I do click on a particular AP, you have the ability to locate them. And the nearer you are, the higher the Geiger counter. And I'm not sure if you can hear it, the more annoying the beep becomes as well. So again, has that ability. So we have the ability to locate using omnidirectional, but also the solution can optionally come with a directional antenna as well if you need to look for more hidden devices, whether in ceilings or behind office furniture, behind tellies or anything like that as well. So again, being able to define stuff or find stuff is sometimes critical. So really that's the traditional AirCheck. But like I mentioned, in version 5 software that we released in September time, we have now the ability to do an element of surveying. So the idea behind AirMapper allows you to import a floor plan. So this is my floor plan, just an office. You can obviously specify the based on the, where's my scale? That is 10 meters, so I've already defined it at the moment. So you import your floor plan. We can do either a passive or an active survey. So once you've imported your floor plan, what the unit can do is it's almost like a smartphone. You can zoom in and pinch out. Basically what I'm doing is just fingering over the actual touch screen now so I can zoom in. And basically what you'll do is like any survey, you click on the start button and then you go around taking measurements. So initially, depending on your scanning pattern, it is red. Once you've actually got a data, it turns green. And what you'll then do is walk around a particular environment, taking measurements. And the idea is, I think I've set it to about 3 meters left and right, and probably my sizing isn't great, but you have the ability then to walk around taking measurements. Move over a bit, I'm just over here, and then, so this only indicates you've got a data point, a measurement. It's not actually saying you've got signal coverage or anything, but what we can then do is stop. You can obviously go back, just resume, but if I save this, hit the save button might help. Just call it AirCheck Demo Day 2. Click on save. That'll upload to Link Live, and then we can see the visualizations. So if I do go to Link Live, link-live.com, anyone can register for an account. It is free. So normally the first tab you have on the bottom, the top left here, is the results. So the network connectivity test I did earlier. So you can see some of the information, including this was my, was this the one today? Yes. Yep, that is. I've set my clock correctly. This is my upload and download stream from an iPurse a minute ago. So again, you see all these test results. That was all the various screenshots. Again, I can view all the necessary files that I see fit. So all of that is available to me. So there are all the test results. If I come down to the AirMapper area, I can click on View Analysis, and let me just duplicate that one moment. The analysis then gives me all the information that I've seen within the screen. So this provides all the channels, you know, the utilization, how many APs, clients, interferers are clicking on. Again, any of this I select as an example will filter down onto, say, the APs for that particular channel that I filtered. So if I remove the filter, these are all the access points, these are all the SSIDs, these are all the clients, these are all the interferers, and this should be the connection log as well that I've seen. So where has that gone? And this is all the connection log of when I connected to that SSID a minute ago. So all this information, as you can see from the bottom bottom right, sorry, I can export into CSV or PDF. So all very flexible. But going back to the AirMapper visualizations, if I click on View Survey, obviously statically located, so what I'm showing you is pretty erroneous. But this is obviously the signal strength. If I do click on anywhere, it takes me to the nearest data point to tell me which SSIDs I'm seeing, signal to noise information. If I'm interested in a particular thing, data rates, again, I can click on that, again, see where I'm going. What is quite nice is the adaptive filtering capability. So if I'm interested in everything, say, bar my home office Wi-Fi network, I can click apply. So again, it will just filter out all of the stuff I'm interested in or not interested in. And all of the filters are dynamic as well. So as an example, I could be looking for certain channel widths. I could be looking for all the open access points. So again, it's very easy to filter in or filter out, and there's an instance none there. So if I remove the filter, again, you can change again, depending on what I've clicked on the left-hand side. If I'm interested in all the stuff that's over 67 decibels, as an example, you can change the threshold, and then all the colors are corresponding. So in a similar way to our traditional AirMagnet site surveying solution, again, all this information you can export, add, and create your own reports over time. Very flexible. If I do go back to that previous screen, what I mentioned is we now have the ability to take this data. So yes, and you can obviously do all the reporting in Link Live. You can export this information in a format that if I open up Survey Pro, I did open up earlier, here we go. that bigger and go to File, Open Project, go to my Downloads folder, and that's the one I just opened. Give it a moment, and if I go to the, well, by default, I'll go to the display area. This is the one I did, demo day, and this is how I've walked around and clicked on, and it gives me all that same information that I've seen, again, with all the different visualizations and parameters that I've seen earlier. So again, I can filter on particular channels, specific access IDs. But the nice thing about this now is I can go into the Airwise option, choose my design criteria based on a variety of different parameters, and it will tell me if I've passed or failed, and if so, why, what percentage. And finally, I can go into the reports area, produce my own report. Demo day 2, second one, top and tail it, choose which report types I want. Again, all fairly easy. Choose any one, do one half of this stuff. Click on OK. You then create a profile, and I'll do on that quickly. And then it just double click on that, and you'll see the report shortly. It's not linear. And then you have the ability to export this into Word document. So it's a very nice way of doing a site survey, but ultimately the workflow allows you to get anyone to do the visualization, the site survey. You then they upload it to Link Live, where you can do analysis, and you can optionally send it into Survey Pro for additional analysis and further reporting. So I suppose, in short, and to summarize, conscious of time, the AirCheck is, an extremely practical solution. There is actually only one AirCheck, but we sell it in 2 kits, and some of the kits include directional antennas, the holster, and car chargers, and also the test accessory for the iPerf performance test. So it's really a way of empowering engineers to solve the most common and also the most complicated Wi-Fi environments. It gives you a client perspective of the network as opposed to a traditional infrastructure view, and it's very graphical, easy to use, and relatively inexpensive. And ultimately, yeah, it fits in with our general portfolio of other handheld network test tools that really allows you to get to the root cause of problems quickly and easily. And I suppose, to summarize, it's simple to use, so you can reduce the complexity of Wi-Fi. It's still considered a bit of a black art to some, provides you all the visibility that you don't get with normal solutions, such as your laptops, etc. Because let's face it, if I do click on Wi-Fi networks down here, it just tells me there, it doesn't tell me any access points, doesn't tell me any specific information. So it really provides you more detailed visibility. And then once you got to the root cause, you can actually collaborate with the necessary people to actually get things done. I am conscious I've gone through this relatively quickly. There is a wealth of information on our website, so go to netally.com. Each product page has sort of a virtual demo, so similar to what I've shown you now, and additional documentation. But if you want further information regarding how to use, we do have a wealth of, training and how to use tech tip type of solutions on our YouTube website. So yeah, just go to YouTube, type in NetAlly, and there's a wealth of information there as well. If you do have any specific questions, feel free to use the chat window now, or reach out directly to myself or Roger, and our email addresses are on the screen. So, yep, sorry, tried to run over a bit, tried to keep it within the half an hour to keep it concise. Happy to take any questions, but more importantly, thanks for joining, and hopefully this has been of use.
Great, thanks, Al. We've got no questions in the chat window at the moment. So thanks for your demonstrating skills this afternoon, Alf. As Alf's already said, you can reach out to us at the email addresses displayed, and we will be running a new series of these in the new year, so watch out for information on that. Thanks for your time and understanding this afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you in the new year for another round of demo days. Thank you very much.